What's going on, everybody? It's me, and today we're going to switch things up a little bit. And these videos don't usually get any views at all, really, so I guess I'm just doing it for me. But there's a lot I could talk about with regard to the professional team up here, the Seattle Seahawks, because a lot of stuff's going on. Mostly the conversation right now around Cam Chancellor's back and Jimmy Graham, but I'm going to save those two conversation pieces for a video I make in probably a couple days. This video, I'm going to switch things up, and it's going to be about these guys right here. My alma mater, the Washington Huskies, 3 games into their season, and I didn't really want to make videos before and after the first few games because I kind of felt like those were not so interesting. I ended up not being totally right on that count, actually, but my suspicion was that we would be 2-1 like we are, so that's good, but we look better than I thought we would. I did not think this was going to be a good year. I thought this was going to be, shut it down, rebuilding year. And if you look at the 3 games so far, I think that we have looked a fair amount better than I thought. We lost 4 of our defensive stars from last year, probably our 4 best defensive players last year. They're all pros. 3 of them went in the first round, so there was some real talent leading this defense. And we lost our quarterback. Not that I'm not even going to say his name because screw that guy, but he was our starter last season, and he was gone. So I just didn't know what we were going to have this season, and I was anticipating some pretty ugly football from these guys. And I still don't think this season's going to be anything special or really even anything average. But so far they've proven me wrong a little bit. So first thing I want to say is the defense as a whole. And I'm not going to single out any players or anything like that because I don't feel like this defense has any like superstars. Like last year we had superstars. Danny Shelton was our best player. Shaq Thompson, Marcus Peters until he got kicked off the team for being a dumbass. And Kikaha. All 3 of those guys went in the top 3 rounds. Everybody except Kikaha went first round. So when we lost those guys, I thought, man, this defense is in trouble this year. But without any superstars, they played really well this season so far. And, you can throw out the game against Utah State and Sacramento State. That first game against the Boise State Broncos, first 2 drives, or 2 of the first 3 drives, I think, for the Boise State, they march down the field. They get touchdowns on both those drives. We can't stop them on 3rd down. We can't stop the run. Can't do anything. And I'm thinking, okay, this is pretty much what I was expecting from this season. And ever since those 2 touchdown drives against Boise State, I think they were both in the first quarter, things have been really good. We gave up 3 points the rest of the way against Boise State, almost won that game on the strength of our defense. Shut out Sacramento State, obviously, and we held, I think it's Utah State, to 10 points because they had the fumble return for the touchdown to get to 17. But props to those guys because it's early. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if they get shredded on Saturday and got shredded against Oregon and USC and Stanford and these guys. So far, it's been better than I thought. I thought we were going to give up some stuff to even a team like Sacramento State. I thought Boise State was going to drop like 40, 50 on us. Excuse me. And so far, other than those first 2 drives against Boise State, the defense has been as good as you could want. So not singling any one person out, but as a team, they've been really good. Now, Jake Browning, just to go further into my whole pessimism about this season, before the first game against Boise State, the word was, we're not going to announce who our starting quarterback is because we had Jake Browning, we had Jeff Lindquist, and we had maybe one other guy whose name escapes me. I don't know. But, we had those 3 guys, and they were competing, and going into that first game, we were like, The team was saying, we're not going to reveal, we're not going to announce who it is. I heard that and I went, oh crap. Because when I read that, my interpretation was they all suck. And I know there's a coaching benefit there where you don't let the team prepare for one of the guys because they don't know who they're going to get. To me, if you have one really good quarterback, a stud, you're just going to say, this is my guy, we're rolling with him. Either we're going to win or lose with him, and other teams, you're going to prepare for him. We don't think you can stop him. So when I saw that we weren't announcing our starter until basically right before the game started, I was thinking, must mean all three of them aren't any good. But this is exciting to me because Jake Browning, I'm not going to say he's played good so far because he's feasted on two crap teams, two crap defenses, and he didn't really lead the offense to any points against Boise State. So it's not that he's playing good by traditional metrics that which we measure a quarterback, but as far as a true freshman goes, I think he's 18 years old. you know, he's looked about as good as you could hope. And I believe that he's the real deal. Now, he's got to get a lot better, obviously. He was not very good against Boise State, although I liked what I saw from him. It's just the production wasn't there. And what I mean by that is I thought he did a good job throwing the ball away. He got the ball out of his hands quickly. He didn't take a sack until the final drive of the game, although those two sacks were killer. Could have won that game if he didn't take them, but that's what you get with a true freshman on the road in his first game, right? But he had a good sense of the pocket. He was doing good at escaping pressure without necessarily running. He's a pocket quarterback. He's a prototypical stand in the pocket and throw quarterback, but he seems to have a good sense of the pocket. He was very smart about throwing the ball away when the play wasn't there. And in that first game, he had the biggest handcuffs I have ever seen in my life on him. We weren't letting him throw anything down the field, nothing hard. Everything seemed to be decided on before the snap. A lot of plays, there wasn't even a read. It was just get the ball, throw it to this guy, and hopefully he breaks a bunch of tackles and does something. But can't really hold that against him. He is a true freshman starting on the road against a good Boise State Broncos team. But he showed me some stuff. And the last two games, he's been great. 300 yards passing. He's getting the ball in the end zone. Again, not going to say he's playing good yet because he's played two crap teams. And in those games, he's thrown some picks that have just been flat dropped. So far in this year, he has two total. I've seen him throw 3 or 4 that should have been picked and just got dropped. So it's not necessarily, we're not where we need him to be yet. But given that he's only started 3 games in college, I'm very happy. And the exciting thing is we get to watch him grow from what he is this year to what he is next year to what he is the year after to possibly what he is the year after that. And based off what I'm seeing so far, it's exciting to watch a prototype quarterback from time to time. As much as we love to watch Russell Wilson and in years past Jake Locker that just drop back in the pocket and make throws down the field is fun to watch too. And, he's 6'2", Jake Browning. He might grow a little bit more because I think he's only 18. He might be 19. But next year and the year after, we might have something really big. We might have somebody who could be one of the best, if not the best quarterbacks in the conference. We haven't had that in a while. We've had good guys. We've had Jake Locker. We've had Keith Price. But we've never had that pro prospect quarterback. Jake Locker went 10 overall, but that was a farce. I mean, come on. I mean, I think most of us knew that he was never going to hack it in the pros. But Jake Browning, he could be that, prototype Joe Flacco type of quarterback and who goes in the first round. And I'm hopeful for the future with Jake Browning. I think he's the real deal. Other than that, the offense has been good. Myles Gaskin, another freshman out there balling. He's our primary running back, and he needs to continue to get a bulk of the carries because I've been happy with him so far. And if that's the future of the offense, Gaskin and Browning in the backfield, we could have something in a year or two. Um, Dwayne Washington, it's funny. Our two best playmakers this year so far have been Myles Gaskin and Dwayne Washington. We got to find a way to get both those guys on the field at the same time because Dwayne Washington can't do shit running the ball this year, but on as a receiver, he's been fantastic. He's been our best receiver maybe so far this year. So maybe we move Dwayne Washington to receiver because he doesn't really look like a running back anyway. He looks like a wide receiver. He looks a little like a Percy Harvin maybe, where he lines up at running back sometimes, but really what he is a little more complicated than that. Maybe we move him to receiver because we need him out on the field, but Gaskin's just running better than him this year. So I would like Dwayne Washington to move to wide receiver, and then you would really have something, him, Jadon Mickens, Joshua Perkins. You'd have guys who can get the job done. Um, so yeah, on the whole, I'm happy with where this team is right now, but conference play starts on Saturday, and even though I like what I see, my prediction when the season started was 5-7. I think we could go 6-6 and make a bowl game, but we're going to have to steal some games. And this is one of those games we could steal. We're underdogs by 3.5 points. Cal has a really good senior quarterback in Jared Goff, but they're not they're not Oregon. They're not somebody who will necessarily just come in here and stomp the life out of us. They could be beaten, and we can beat them. I don't know if we will. I'm not. I honestly, I don't know really see it happening, but this is a game you need to steal if you want to find a way to make a bowl game because we've got 2 wins. You can pencil in that Washington State game. We're going to beat the Cougars this year. I'm pretty freaking sure of that. If not, suicide watch. There are probably 1 or 2 other games that we should win down the line. Lesser Pac-12 teams like an Oregon State, and maybe one of the Arizona teams will be down a little bit this year, but we need to find a way to steal a game that we shouldn't win if we're going to go bowling. And I think this California game is going to be one of those chances because USC, Stanford, Oregon, I expect all those teams to just flat murder us. But so far, thumbs up. Happy with Chris Peterson, happy with the freshmen, happy with the guys on this team playing better than I thought they would. Really happy with Jake Browning, and we'll see where this season goes.